underestimate
the power
of a single
conversation.
It could change your whole life.
INCRadio Chatline.
conversations that matter.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to INCRadio Chatline. Today we're talking about a lot of different things. Probably things that you've heard all the time, like, does this dress make me look fat? And how are you going to answer that? I feel like,
I hope
well,
that's not the
someone-
question of the day.
No, I won't make you answer that question, Nate. But that is one of the things that we will be talking about because I feel like communication, and we've said it in the past, it's one of the things that we use all the time, but things just get muddled up sometimes and it's just very confusing. And I feel like even between the genders, like between guys and girls, there's a lot of things that get lost in translation. Just like that phrase right there. Like if I were to say, does this dress make me look fat? You don't have to answer about me specifically, but have you gotten asked that question before?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes.
No, I have not.
No.
But joking.
Being
Are
a
you in-
resident married, what do you call this? Guest member on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been asked that. But
Okay.
I always approach things with a sense of humor. So if you ask me, does the dress make me look fat? I say no, but it makes your elbows look very large. You know, I'll say something random like that just
Okay,
because it's like, why would you ask me that? Like, don't ask me a question like that. That's a loaded question. And I'm going to give you a joke answer because that's who I am.
Oh,
Interesting.
I remember though something, Tony, because my mom, like sometimes I'll go shopping with my mom, and she'll ask me, like she'll hold up like two different dresses that to me look very much similar, but apparently it's different. And she's like, which one looks better? And I'm like in my mind, okay, I don't say this out loud. In my mind, it's like, whichever one you like. But I don't know. I don't know which one looks better. So, like, I guess.
I mean, typically with
I
that,
go-
with anyone, you can just pick one at random, and if they have a strong
Mhm.
reaction, like "Yeah, I knew it," then it's like that's the one they really want. But if they're kind of
Mm.
like, you can kind of like add on to it and be like, "But this other dress here," and then you can gauge the reaction from both of your responses, and then you'll know which one they actually want. Because majority of the time, people already know what they want; they just want validation. So.
Not me.
Mm.
I'll ask you and then I'll still be confused. I'll be like even more confused. I will not be any more sure after talking to you about it. That's just
I feel
because
like that's
I'm
like-
just indecisive.
Yeah. I feel like that's uncharacter for you, though. Because,
Is it?
I've known you for a while. Yeah, I feel like that's very like uncharacter. Like you're not like you wouldn't be the one like what Kenneth was talking about. Like like you kind of gauge by their reaction. Because I feel like your reaction would be to ask why. Like why did you change your answer or something like that?
Now-
Possibly.
If you're married long enough, like for me, I just there's times though where I will be honest and be like, no, that looks terrible. I will say it if I
Okay.
think it looks terrible. Because in the end, like I am looking out for this person that I care about.
Of course.
And if it's like, is this dress or this dress look better, but they're both fine, then really it's a flip of the coin. But I will be honest though, if something does look bad.
So I'm curious because how long have you been married, Nate? How long has it been?
It's 2011, so we're hitting 14 years.
Okay, so when did it get easier? Like, was it just as you went through more things together that it just became easier to be that honest? Like in the beginning, were you more reserved,
I wouldn't
filtered?
say so, just because I'm always approaching things with like a sense of humor. So
Mm,
I think I've always given a joke answer.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's there in the chat. Hi, Melanie.
Oh, I'm sure she is.
Thanks for tuning in with us. Same with everyone else who's tuning in there. Do share your answers with us, not just about that question, but just in general. I feel like there's phrases that we just kind of encounter all the time that we don't always know how to answer, or we might not be interpreting it. Like There's one that I came across the other day when I was like scrolling through social media, and one of them is like, I don't want to talk about it. Right? Like I don't want to talk about it. Do you take that seriously? Like when someone tells you when a like let's say when a girl tells you that, a girlfriend, or when your wife tells you that, Nate, like do you take that seriously, or is that kind of like a play on of, oh no, you need to make me talk about it?
Okay, there's two answers to that. So like when you're dating, like the stakes are higher. So when you hear that, you're
Mm,
like, oh no, and you're trying to like, fix the problem because that's the male instinct. Try to fix
got
the
it.
problem. But when you're married, it's a little different. You know that, till death do us part. So when
Hmm.
someone tells me, I don't want to talk about it, I'm like, okay, okay, I'm fine.
And
I
more
think that
often than not,
Mm,
yeah, and I think that comes, with I guess part of the benefit of being married, it is till death do you part. So um sometimes you need some of that space, some of that quiet time to think. Sometimes when someone's really upset and you leave them alone for a little while, like they'll calm down. So but at the same time that depends on your spouse. So I wouldn't necessarily follow this
right?
advice, to the
mm.
T. Okay, so
I would say though, like for me, and again, and this applies to this applies to like anyone. If someone tells me I don't want to talk about it, I just tell them okay, like okay, because and I clarify with them because I don't want them to feel like like I don't care. Like okay, I don't care that you don't want to talk about it with me. Like it's like I clarify with them. Okay, I'll just let me know when you do want to talk about it.
yeah, and I'm the same way, like with other people. If they don't want to tell me something, then I'm like, it's kind of a good thing because it's one less thing I have to be responsible because I don't I feel like a lot of people they want to hear gossip, but they're not ready to take responsibility for the information they're about to receive, right?
Mm,
So like if somebody doesn't feel like I need to know something in that moment because I'm very very busy. I don't have time to, worry about every little problem. But if it is important, they'll tell me. But if not, they won't tell me and I'll be like that's fine. I don't need to know. It's and I don't go digging into it because I don't have the capacity to worry about every little thing.
if I if I do feel though that like, they're sort of like pushing me to like ask, kind of like going in a roundabout way into getting me to ask, I would just like and I just tell this to everyone. It's like I know that if you want to talk about this, like if you want to tell me about it, you'll tell me about it.
I mean,
when you want to tell me about it.
do y'all ever find that you are like you're always in the know, or do you find that you are never in the know? Because I feel like I'm in that latter camp. I'm never in the know of
never
anything.
in the
People be
know.
like, "Didn't you know that?" And I'd be like, "No, I did not know that. Nobody tells me anything."
I feel like I'm always in the know, but not by choice. It just it just happens. Like I'll just find out things like, oh, okay, I wasn't planning on asking about that, but okay, I guess people just tell me things. I'm just like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's why like sometimes when because I feel like I don't know if it's because like girl versus guy thing, people will talk to me about things, right? They'll just naturally share things with me, and there'll be moments where they're like, oh, I'm fine, I don't want to talk about it. But then later on they come back to it somehow, and then we end up we are like talking about, I was like, so that's why I get confused. I'm like, did you not really not want to talk about it, or did you want me to kind of help you be more relaxed to talk about it? So that's what gets confusing for me sometimes. I feel like guys aren't like that. I feel like with all my guy friends, they're pretty straight. Like when they want to talk about something, they're there. But for the most part, I feel like with girls, we
I,
gotta
I don't know,
let
Tony,
up
if this
sometimes.
is like because I don't know because I don't know if this is something that guys do or if this is just something some guys do. And just for me, if I tell you about it, I've already sort of like had a back and forth with it in my mind that yeah, I'm gonna
I've
tell,
heard
I'm
that.
gonna
Yeah,
tell
I've heard
this
that.
person, like it's already been decided. I've already decided what I'm gonna tell you, how much I'm gonna tell you about it, what I'm gonna say. Like it's already been decided. So it's like like when I tell people about it, like it comes across like very straightforward, very like almost like these are all the important details of what I wanted to tell you. I've already sort of noted them down.
Summary. You have like a
Yeah, I summarized them
Summary.
already in my brain.
bullet points presentation complete.
I feel like every time I prepare that in my mind, though, like, all right, I'm like preempting a conversation, and I'm preparing all those points. They never come up. It's like I just waste my
Really?
time thinking and worrying about something, and it never materialized.
Do you find that that's different with your guy friends versus with Melanie, Nate, with your wife?
Oh,
Like
yeah, everything is different. Yeah,
being
yeah,
able
nothing
to
is similar.
share versus like, is it like more of your approach or just amount of details that you get to share?
I feel like maybe to my guy friends, I don't open up as much because you know, being married, my wife is the one who's gonna know, everything about me or
Mhm.
anything that's going wrong. Because if something's going wrong, with one spouse or another, it needs to be communicated because it can make the situation way worse if they don't say
For sure.
anything. You leave the other person guessing, and that's something every married couple has to learn. It's like you got to communicate, and sometimes you just have to say, "I'm not in a good mood. This is ticking me off. I just need this right now," instead of trying to let someone else, interpret what's going on. And
Being direct.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're just putting the information out there and being clear
Mhm.
about like what is going on so that the other person doesn't have to worry. Now, I wish I could claim that I do that all the time. I don't. Okay, but as I get older, I'm getting better at it.
It's okay. I totally related when you say that because sometimes I don't realize that I'm in a mood until it's like to the point of no return. Like, oh, I probably just should have told them that I didn't eat yet, or like, like stuff like that. I feel like
Yeah,
that stuff definitely influences those
you'd be
things.
Like in
surprised how
terms of
food solves a lot of problems.
Yeah,
in terms of like your friends, people you know, Tony, how much of them do you think can tell like when you just need food?
I don't know because I feel like I have a reputation for just like eating late. So I don't know if they but what I've been told is that my face when I'm upset it's like constipated. So I feel like people just like avoid me. People just avoid me when I have that face on. But when it comes to like I guess what Nate's point earlier of being direct with I'm learning to do that more now because I feel like there are times where I would say I'm fine when but my face definitely tells a different story. Again, the
Mhm.
constipated look. So it's like I tried to be more open now and say like, oh, I didn't get good sleep last night, or I've had a rough day at work. I'm not really in for good combo right now. I just need some time. So that's been harder to do. I guess I don't know why it's hard. I don't know. I don't know why you guys think it's harder to be more direct.
Mm.
I feel like
And
though, I would like to add though, like if you are a father and a husband, you need to be able to suppress, some of your feelings because in the end, like being the husband or the father, you have to be the main source of stability in the family. Okay, so there is that difference too between male and female. Um, of course, it's good to communicate, when things aren't going right. But I think in the end, the male figure of the family does sometimes need to be in that position where they have to, especially when things are going really bad, they have to make sure that their family looks up to them and sees that like they're in control, basically.
Hmm.
So it's a different responsibility, but I think sometimes though that may go too far for male figures and they just completely shut things out, and that can do more harm than good at that point.
I feel like
And
I
that's
had
where
to.
like Melanie kind of comes in and makes the balance with you, right? She's able to kind of talk things through with you if some stuff is like going on. This feels like, marriage tips with Nate right now because
I feel like I have to learn that, Nate. Because like for me, my face betrays me when I'm trying to tell someone it's fine, it's okay. I feel like my face betrays me because I see it in their face. I see
I
it
hear
in their face when I say I'm
her.
okay, and I, like I can't see what I look like, but I can tell that they're not believing me when I say I'm okay or I'm fine. You know? And
Well,
I
that's
made
where
the
a good
point of.
friend though, when they see that, they
Mm,
can be strategic especially if they know you, like you're not one to just fully open up. You know, they will sense that something is off, and they may not ask because maybe they feel like, okay, this person doesn't want to say something's going on, but at least they could try to help indirectly. You know what I mean?
But what I do now is just being like just be honest about it, like, and explaining it as well, like in terms of like, like say like in terms of like a decision that a friend makes that I kind of didn't like, and they're asking for my 2 cents on it. Like I would just outright tell them, like, well, probably not something that I would have wanted you to choose, but then again, like it's supposed to be your choice, like whether or not I like this choice, like I'm still your friend, like I'm still your friend. I'm still here. I'll still back you up if you need it, but like just so uh they know that there's this transparency. There's this transparency like with me. Like if I don't like it, I'll tell them. But like I'll make it clear to them that like, hey, whatever you choose, I'm still with you. I'm still with you on that, unless
That's
it's
funny that
something that
you.
I really can't abide with.
That's funny that you bring it up, EJ, because in the chat I saw from Ronnie and Renz, they're talking about the phrasing, it's up to you.
Oh yeah, especially when it comes
It's
to
up to
eating.
you. Yeah, that's always thoughts. What are your
All right,
thoughts?
so what works a few times is you ask the person, hey, guess where we're gonna go eat, right? And then they say
Oh,
guess, and
that's
you'd be
smart.
like, you're right, you got it right. That's where we're going.
It works, huh? You tried it.
It'll work the first few times, yeah.
Okay. There's an expiration. Okay. What did she say the third time? Was it just kind of like,
Yeah,
I
they
see what
catch
you're
on.
doing?
Yeah, people just catch on to that. And then you end up having to go through a list. You're like, what about this? What
Oh,
about this?
you,
Or
EJ.
maybe you can. No, I'm wondering, why can't you just ask them like, what do you feel like eating today? Like you want burgers, tacos, you want like pasta.
See, I'm the type to get overwhelmed with choices, so that would just throw me enough.
uh,
Well, also nowadays, like everybody seems to have their own diet now. So that's another
Oh,
thing.
true.
It's very
That is true.
complex. Trying to pick something that would also adhere to what everybody may be eating.
Yeah, it's hard to do it also with the groups of friends, right? Like, what are you up for eating? And then you're trying to get everybody on the same page, like same to what you said. Also,
Yeah,
like,
I feel like the internet ruined that because people started looking up like different diets. Whereas back then, you were just like, yeah, we're just gonna go to that restaurant and we're all gonna eat and we'll suffer the consequences, whatever they may be.
Nate, I'm still like that, man. I'm still like that. It's like whenever people ask me, like my friends ask me where Cleo, where do you want to eat? I'm like, wherever you guys are going. Like I'm just going with you guys.
What's even worse is when you end up with like all indecisive people and like wherever you want. Wherever you, it's up to you. Wherever.
I remember with my group of friends though, I would like pick a place and I would literally just go. I'll say I'm going there, bye, and they would have to follow.
Nate, I'm like that if I'm just by myself. If I'm eating with people, I try to consider like what they want to eat because I know for me, I'm not too picky with like food. I can eat anywhere. Like I don't have like these cravings where I'm like, oh, I want to eat this, I want to eat that, like right now. Even if I do feel like eating ice cream, which is like, I'll just save that for another time.
Yeah, I just save all my cheat days for those particular moments. That's how I make it work.
That makes sense. Okay.
Oh, I do. That reminds me, since we're on the topic of like food, that reminds me. Have you ever had that experience? And this is something I haven't experienced this, but I've heard. It's like, are you hungry? No. Like you're on a drive-through. Are you hungry? What do you want to get? And they say, "Oh no, I'm full." Experience that.
And then later on, they start eating your food.
You get home. There's no more fries.
Yeah. Like I thought you said you didn't want any. I just want to try a little bit. Like okay, it's like all gone. Nate, experienced that? Is that married life? Is that relatable? No. She usually truthful about whether or
He's
not she's gonna.
calculating what he's
I
gonna
know,
buy.
I know. I
No,
know
I'm
his
just gonna
face.
outright say it. It's like you'll get food and she don't want anything, and then when she sees that you have food, see that if you're smart though, you go ahead and order extra. So
That's true.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's always better to have more.
that's the same with the if it's cold out, I keep an extra like hoodie in my car.
Oh,
So anytime someone asks for my jacket, I'm like, no, I hate being cold. That's why I brought a jacket. I have a extra jacket in my truck. Go grab it.
That
That's-
is smart. That's like skills you pick up from experience. Like I wouldn't have been able to conceive like
Yeah, I just keep that stuff extra in my vehicle because it's like you spend one day without a jacket. You're like, man, being cold is really miserable. I do not like the cold at all. I don't like it. So
That's why you're in
And-
Texas.
I wish Texas was warm all year, but it isn't.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Anyway, that's a separate topic. Sorry, EJ. Yeah, it's lots of different things. Lots of different things to kind of, balance and consider when we're talking about these different phrases. This last one, I know because we were talking about relationship dynamics and then also like friendship dynamics, but this one is a common one. I feel that, well, I don't know. Did you hear this growing up, Nate? Like bahala ka or bahala ka sa buhay mo, or like whatever, do whatever you want. Is that
No,
a
I
thing?
haven't. I only am familiar with Tagalog if my mom's yelling at me about something.
She never
Yeah.
yelled that at you before.
Yeah, she's yelled at me a lot. And oh yeah, I got yelled at a lot when I was a kid. And a lot of it was in Tagalog. I don't know what it meant, but I can understand anger. You know what's funny though? EJ froze and I thought he was just like staring at us with
Yeah.
I was like, come on, EJ, say something. I was like, oh, he's
Technical
frozen.
difficulties. Yeah,
Yeah, we lost EJ.
it's okay. He'll find his way back. Lost in communication, maybe.
So what is this phrase you just brought up?
So, bahala ka sa buhay mo. I didn't hear this growing up either, but I just wanted to talk about it because I've always seen it like with my other friends whose parents, because my mom, both my parents didn't speak Tagalog to me growing up. I was only more recently, but I know my friends who did grow up like in the Philippines, or their parents speak Tagalog to them. This is a big phrase, like bahala ka sa buhay mo. I don't know the exact perfect translation, it's just, but the shortened version in English I feel like is like whatever, do what you want. But of course they don't actually mean that, right?
Okay,
Like
I
when
think
they're
I think I know what
upset
you're
you.
talking about. I feel like I've seen a reel or something
Yeah.
about it. It's like you're about to leave
Mm-hmm.
and your parent like tries to dissuade you from leaving, but then you insist. And so they say that
Yes.
not because they really want you to do whatever you want. They want you to feel guilty.
Yeah. And they're like, so do I go? Or like, is that a yes? And they're just kind of standing there and they're like, yeah, I've never experienced that, but I know a lot of my friends have. Yeah, I see
I don't know if my mom
Janet.
ever did that to me. She probably did.
No?
And I'm probably like the last person you should say that. If you're like, do whatever you want, I'd be like, okay, cool. Bye. That's what
It's
you
like
say.
sign of approval. Yeah, I feel like people are relating to that in the chat. I see that from
Yeah.
Janet
What do we got in the chat?
Salvador. Oliver actually said, especially using phrases through text. Hard to read emotions through text. I'm glad that you brought that up, Oliver, because I don't know if this is a generational thing, but tell me if this relates to you, Nate. The variations of okay. Like there's okay, like okay, and then okay, like the full OKAY, and then there's K.
Yep.
Now, I feel like with the K, like just the letter K, I feel like in older generations, maybe like millennial older, like that's standard, that's normal, that's just like fine, like we're good. But that has a different connotation to everyone after millennials. We're like, are they mad? Like, are they?
The
I feel like
passive
people
aggressive.
passive aggressive, like
Yeah.
okay, like
We
they
got him.
like
He came back.
woo.
Sorry, we had a power outage, so I had to switch to my phone. That's why I'm like, if I look a little closer now.
What those
K.
guys? K. Do you do K? Do you do K, Nate? Like just straight up K through text?
Do I do that? I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do just a K. Arnie does. So
Yeah.
quick plug for INCRadio South Central States. We work on the shows together. Every time I send her something, hey, what do you think of this for the show? She just replies K, and I'm like, what do you mean K? Like, so I'm the old man who's just like, what is this whippersnapper saying to me? Just K. What is this?
It's like it's quick. I get it. Maybe it's like for
I'm too scared.
efficiency.
I'm too scared to use skate, Tony, because I'm like, like, what if they think I'm upset if I just use skate?
But
No, like
that's where I'm
it's
very
real.
careful about trying to interpret a intent through a text. Okay.
Yeah.
You learn your lesson because like you'll confront someone over it, and there's been skits on it too where people
Mhm.
misinterpret a text and then it's like it's completely off. But I remember like a friend of mine showing me like a conversation, and he was like telling me like how mad he was at this person for what they were saying, and I was just like, he might be completely reading this other person wrong because he already has it in his head, this scenario,
Yeah.
kind of like the shower thoughts you have when you're making up arguments, and now you're acting those out, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, you really got to be careful about interpreting an intent through a text message.
I'm terrible at that because I'm an overthinker, and just naturally you could be responding with just general like comment on something, and I just shut down. and, and like you're like, wait, what? I didn't even mean it that way. Just relax. I
Yeah,
feel like
and it works both ways, right?
yeah.
It's doing your best to not communicate something accidentally, right?
Mhm.
Like just putting a K and just assuming the other person would understand the intent. But at the same time, it's like just not getting offended at every text
Yeah.
that you read. Yeah, and
Don't
just
read into things. Like don't feed like,
and if you have any kind of relationship with that person, it's like, okay, this person, like especially if you're friends, it's like they're just your friend, like they're not intending to throw shade at you or anything through
Mhm.
text, so give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Benefit of the doubt. Hashtag benefit of the doubt. I like that. Melanie said, like when someone says no worries, is that something that gets misinterpreted? I say that a lot. I do say that a lot. Oh, she followed up. She said, I wonder if they really mean it or they are actually bothered. Yeah, I feel like even the usage of like the period sometimes. I feel like with
Wait,
some
what do you
people.
mean usage of the
Okay. So like when you're when you're
I didn't know that there was tactical use of the period.
because sometimes the way that I've seen some people, like when you see like screenshots on reels or whatever, the use of the period sometimes kind of denotes like passive aggressiveness, like fine without a period versus fine with a period. No, like there's
uh,
something about it that
it's like a
elicits
capital period.
yeah, yeah, it's
Capital
just like
period.
Is it
aggressive, like
like a
fine.
way of like ending conversations? Like, I'm
I
Fine.
done with
don't
this conversation.
Boom. I'm
I
gonna start putting periods with my K's, like K dot.
it just I don't know if that's I try not to read into it. I know that, but that's like a thing because I've seen people kind of react differently to that stuff. But I realized also, like if you have voice to text, that will do it automatically for you, even if you don't want to put a period there. Like when I do voice to text a lot of the time now, just because like I'm moving a lot. So when I do it, it just automatically makes it look so formal when my actual text is not formal at all. there's there's like a lot of different elements to it. So it's just like you can tell when I'm doing a voice to text versus like my own, I guess, phrasing and of
I have
everything.
trust issues with voice to text.
Yeah,
Even the autocorrect on the keyboard. I'm like, why did you
mine is
autocorrect
off.
that? That was correct in the first place. Why did you
No,
change it? And then you make me
trying
look
to
dumb.
no, trying to use Tagalog like word fillers with autocorrect on is the most infuriating thing I've ever experienced.
Fillers? What do you mean fillers? Tagalog
Like if you
Like,
fillers?
just
I
call
use words like
Oh.
ba,
Oh, yeah.
cat. Like,
Did
like,
you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And sometimes sometimes the autocorrect just like it just freaks out and it'll just be BBABC. Like it's like what is that? That's not even a word. It just freaks out. It doesn't
no.
recognize the word. I'm trying to tell you, it's Tagalog word fillers that I
Completely different.
use.
Yeah.
You'll hear it. You'll hear it when I'm speaking like English. So even in my text, I say it like that. I use those filler words.
Yeah, I turned off my autocorrect a long time ago just because there's been too many instances of text conversations where that one word, like it's just like the placement or just the added adage of the word changed the whole message, and you're like, that's not what I meant. And the person is like all upset. I'm like, no, that's not what I was saying. That's the worst feeling, is to be misunderstood. Like,
Although with
through
my
conversation.
friends, if autocorrect does something funny, like I'll just leave it in and send it because my friends will know that's what
that
happened.
is, yeah.
They know better. And sometimes so there's another thing, it's like your relationship with people, if they know you, because
Mhm.
I may get something that is completely off from somebody, and you just
Mhm.
know, like, I don't think they meant to type this. Like autocorrect took over. The machines decided to put a wedge between us. I'm not falling for it.
Or sometimes, like when I'm doing voice to text and I forget that the mic is still like going, and you get interrupted by someone else, and then your conversation with that person starts to go into the message, and then by the time you get back to it, you have this whole other. It's like split into two different topics. I'm like,
So
oh no.
I feel bad for like grandparents who like they haven't figured out like the voice to text and they're trying to like like that happens where they'll see a word, they're like, oh no, that's not what I said, and oh, just keep adding and adding, and oh no, that's not, like
Yeah,
don't add that, and
yeah.
just keeps adding and adding on the thing.
It's
But
so cute, but I feel so bad. Yeah, I've seen the reels like that.
It kind of reminds me
un-
of when our cat sat on my keyboard and almost sent a message to my boss of just like a single letter just repeated, like 1,000 times. I was like,
Nate,
good thing the cat didn't accidentally send that.
Nate, if I was the boss and you told me like, sorry, that was like my cat, I'll just be like, well, tell him he has a very good idea. He deserves a raise.
It's like, why'd you send me a long string of the letter H? I don't understand you.
How did they sit on letter H? No, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah. We lost EJ again.
we lost lots of
no.
lots of
Alright,
translation.
am I back? Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
No, since we're on the topic of like message conversations, I do not like when I ask somebody like, "What do you think about this?" or "What do you think about like this thing?" and they just like how in Telegram you can just react to like messages, and I think a lot of like
Mm,
messaging apps you can just react to messages. When they just send a thumbs up, I always
Mm.
interpret that as like, are they
okay.
mad at me? Yeah, like kind of like
That's the
Yeah.
equivalent of
or
like
like
K.
fine, yeah, like
Right?
fine. Okay.
It's like, here's your validation. Leave me alone.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
It could be interpreted either way. It's like, yes,
I was just
thumbs
like, are
up.
they
Or it can
upset?
be
at
like,
this?
yeah, go away.
That's how I see it sometimes. So I was like, I'm like, okay, I guess they don't like that. And I was like, wait, what didn't they like about it? And I'm trying to change it, but so, like some people, and I'd say my dad does that. He just sends like thumbs up, like when he approves of stuff, and like that does not have any deeper meaning. It's just like, yeah, like I approve of it. Like, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
okay.
This
a
is
meme.
good.
I've seen that meme so many times. Like,
Yeah.
there's like a big thing of text of someone, telling their dad something, and the dad just replies with a thumbs
Thumbs
up.
up.
It's generational, right? Like for them, it's just like it's fine, nothing wrong with it. But then for us, we're just like dying inside. We're like, but
Like, did I say something that upset you?
that's why my reactions are always like it's a heart. It's like the prayer hands, or like there's like also like the hundred, like K. So they know that
Yeah,
I'm always enthusiastic about whatever they.
I appreciate that because like when someone just sends a thumbs up, I'm like, okay, they didn't like it.
And this
Yeah,
is almost
thumbs
doesn't
up is like
represent either. The funniest part.
yeah. That's like I don't know. It's just there's so many different ways of communicating now. And it just makes me think like would you say are we any better at it now than we were before? Like if you think like 10 years ago. Do you think we're better at communicating
Mm.
now with all the stuff that we have and just given the phrases that we talked about earlier? Like do you think we're better at communicating or
I feel like we're more, I don't know if better is the right word, but I feel like we're more conscious now about communication. Like just in terms of like, we're having this topic. It's kind of, I guess it's, like meta. Like we're having this topic about communication. And I feel like it's like it's a topic that people notice now, like more so nowadays, like the topic of just being able to communicate what you mean. I feel like
mm,
I don't know if better is the word, but more conscious, I guess,
more
on
conscious?
So I started to
communication.
think like historically. So
Mhm.
like way back then, if you had to communicate, say through like Morse code, I was like, I wonder if there were any problems like that. Like if you were to put a K in Morse
Mm.
code and be like, that's it. I just sent you a whole bunch of dots and dashes, and then all you have to do is the only thing you have to say is K. So I don't know. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like you had letter writing, people did that, and if you read like old letters, they were like very eloquently written. Like I don't know
Mhm.
Mm.
what English they were using back then. It's like way more complex than the English we use
No,
now.
it's funny how we went from like that, like very eloquently written letters to like telegrams, which are
Right.
kind of like the,
And you had to
I
yeah,
guess,
you
the
had to
male
shorten it a
equivalent
little
of
bit.
text messages.
Yeah. So you can kind of see where as technology is introduced, uh communication can have its pitfalls. So you can see where writing a letter you can get the wrong point across. And then the telephone comes around and now you can actually hear their voice, you can hear the intonation in their voice and whatnot. You can hear the awkward silence, all that, right? And then we had the internet and now we had text messages. Uh but just kind of wrap everything all together, it's like with more power comes more responsibility. So like now that we
Mm.
have all these different ways to communicate, you have emojis to be able to, help you convey something. You have tactical periods that you can put into your text. So with that in mind, it's like it's more on us when we're communicating something to effectively, convey what we're actually trying to convey.
Accountability, right?
Yeah.
Or like that tactical period is also the thing now. Definitely, that's
I
a new
still don't get
hashtag.
it.
It just feels aggressive. That's it, EJ. The period just feels even though in reading a book, right, that's standard. Like if you didn't have like a
Yeah,
period at the end of
I feel like
sentences.
a period is just formal when ending sentence.
Yeah, I don't
Then
know.
then you have it on the other end of the spectrum where people whenever they send a text, they'll also add like an LOL. I noticed that was the thing. Like after everything they say, there's an
Yeah, it's
LOL
like
or a ha
LOL.
ha
Even though
ha.
it's not funny, it's just
Yeah.
like
It's just
filler.
tactical
Okay,
LOL.
you guys are targeting me. I feel I feel targeted here.
No, it is true, right? You just get used to like, you just say something, it's not that funny, you're like LOL.
Yeah, I
Like
use a lot and ha
lowercase.
ha ha.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you're trying to lighten the mood, it's like a
Yeah,
dampening
true.
effect. Yeah.
Or you have that
You,
like
you
kind
say
of
something
that
super serious and then LOL. Like, is it funny though? Like,
you
are
have
we
that
laughing at this?
no. You have that emoji, it's like laughing, but it sounds like a bead of like sweat kind of going down.
Yeah,
You're targeting me
yeah.
now. That's my emoji.
Oh, yeah. Oliver says, "Are they really laughing out loud?" No, I don't think. I think the most. Have you seen that reel where it's just like the variations of like laughter, and one of them
Mhm.
is like when you read something and you just kind of snort. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Snort
that.
not
It's
your
like
nose.
Yeah. Even laughter, I feel like there's different variations of laughter too, like through
I
text,
wonder
like
if
the
this
ha ha ha.
this new generation even knows what LOL stands for.
oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure
Because
they
I
do.
know that like
Oh.
there's like a meme of like Michael Jordan crying, And like
Mm.
everyone from our generation knows, like that's Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all time. They say that really young generations are like, oh no, that's the crying man. Like that's how they
Oh, really?
identify. Yeah, a lot of these famous people through memes. It's like, no, that's not Michael Jordan. That's the crying man.
And I know some kids who know him from like the stop it like meme, like stop it. So, like that, I know kids who know him from that. They didn't even know that he played basketball. No, why do you think they got him to do this?
That's crazy. No, but I totally get that though. I totally get that. There's like different peaks of that's I feel like that's one of the things that could kind of get in the way of communicating effectively or communicating well is just not really being used to the different ways that we do it now, I guess. And
Mm.
then how other people are used to doing it versus like the whole, again, going back to the whole K thing. For some people that's normal, other people are just like, oh whoa. It's like, or versus, I feel like there was a point where through texting, it was just very it was like shortened slang where it's older oh, I don't know if you guys I feel like this is with the old, not, I'm not calling you old, Nate. I mean like older, like my parents like level of older. They put the ellipses in text, like the dot dot dot. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Like after they say
yeah.
and it makes you think like, are
They're
they
sad.
sad? Are they pondering? I'm just like, oh, I'll just eat later then. Dot dot dot. I'm like, are you upset that
I'll get you
like,
food. What do you want? I'll get you food. And
yeah,
no,
it's just
Tony,
like,
you say that. I'll get you food. I'll get you food. What do you want to eat? And they're like, no, it's okay. That.
yeah. And it's just like, are you okay though? Like, just that, but that again, that's the overthinker in me that I've just kind of had to reel in a little
Because
bit
how
and
we
check
read it,
out.
like in our
It's
generations, like that's
different.
how you convey that you're upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when you're texting someone and you're trying to convey that you're upset, you just use dot 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 in your sentences. So that's how we read it,
Yeah.
and then they see it
Exactly.
differently.
Yeah.
Like for them, it's just like, oh, it's just normal. Like for me,
Which
that's the
goes
period for me. It's like where I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Which goes back to what Nate was saying earlier, right? Like being able to take that accountability when we're having conversations is like, like reading the room, like who you're speaking with, of course, and then and being able to not let, whatever thing that you want to insert into what they've said to not go beyond whatever they've said, like adding additional meanings if
Mm,
it's not meant that way. Um I feel like there's a lot of things that we can kind of consider when we're talking to someone, but what are things that you've noticed, like when you guys are communicating, whether it's virtually or even in person, what are things that in the way of communicating effectively?
mm. And for me, ego, pride, especially if I'm uh like especially if I'm having like a heated discussion with someone about something that we're both passionate about. I feel like just see the thing is I see their point. I see their argument. Like like maybe earlier I didn't, but now I see it. I see their point, I see their argument. It makes sense to me, but I still feel like I can't let them win. My pride is now on the line. Like admitting that I'm wrong doesn't feel good to me. Like I feel like that gets in the way sometimes. That gets in the way sometimes. So like being being able to communicate effectively. Because I will try to say that I agree without saying that I agree. it's,
Mm.
it's just like I see it, I see it, but there's there's a caveat to that that I still don't agree with because like admitting that I agree means that I gave in.
I feel
Mm.
like though as you get
That's something I'm
older,
trying to.
I feel like
Was
as you
that?
get older though, you'll do that less and less because
Mm.
for my
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, I remember I used to do that when I was younger. I don't do that so much now. And I think because like as you get older, you learn from experience that like if you constantly are letting your ego get in the way of I guess your relationship with somebody, you're valuing your ego more than your friendship with
Yeah.
somebody. It's like you
Yeah.
find that to be more detrimental, and
Mhm.
you'd be surprised like if you just admit that you're wrong. You're like, oh wow, like that turned out better that I admitted that I was wrong, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I just feel like some of these things when it comes to communication, like you learn through experience, which is why I see now why a lot of like older people tend to keep quiet. They don't run their mouth all the time. It's like I think they went through that experience and they know. Whereas like when you're, I mean, you compare that to when you're like 3 years old, where you just say everything that pops into your mind, right?
Mhm.
That's the contrast on the other end of the spectrum. So like as you get older, if you're being conscious about what you're doing, because there's old people who never learn, unfortunately. I'm just gonna say it, okay? They just don't learn. Um,
Mhm.
but
Like,
yeah, I mean that's part of like growing as a person.
I'm with you there, Nick. When like, cause that's more of like what I try to do now. Like in even like with my self dialogue. So the things that I tell myself is just like it's your pride. It's being right. Really, kind of like more important than being at peace with like this person. And sometimes I feel like sometimes I just want to avoid drama. So if it's not like a way, it's like like what, this kind of like the point that I'm arguing is not really much more important. Like I'm okay with either. Like I'm okay with either. Like I'm just more slightly favorable to this thing, but I'm still okay. To this other thing. I'll just give it. It's just, like
And
it's just to
I'm
avoid like the drama of it. Like conversation, not the conversation, the fight. Avoiding like the fight. It's like it's something that I can live with. It's not like I don't want it to be like just I'm just doing this because I want to avoid like the drama. It's just like for me, it's just I can live with this too. So I'll just live with it.
So I was thinking of a recent argument I was having with someone. We were working on a project on setting things up, and I was delegating things out, and a problem arose, and I was trying to say like, well, we can solve this problem doing it this way, and then a person just spoke up and was arguing with me. He's like, no, we're going to do it this way, and we were arguing back and forth for a while trying to reason things out, and I just knew like, all right, let me keep my mind and not let my emotions completely take over. I'm like, I'm trying to keep track of a lot of things because I was in charge of this event, and this person is clearly like invested into taking care of this problem, so I just backed off and said I'll let them solve it, and I'll just let it go. And I feel like especially if you're gonna be in charge of something, if you're gonna lead something, that's like one of the hardest lessons to learn as a leader, is to know when to back off, and know that you don't have to have everything your way, and it's often better to have somebody who's really invested in the goals of the group in total, to be invested that way, and to just allow them to have it their way.
Mm.
Allows more space for collaboration, and then being able to expand, I think, because even to Oliver's point, it's tough to communicate when there are a million things happening at the same time. Kind of leads to one being overwhelmed. So like to your point, Nate, I feel like even like just thinking of efficiency, like when you want to be efficient, being able to allot that trust to different people and give them that opportunity. And sometimes that communication can look like what you just gave that example of, just like go do it, like just
Yep.
you're
Just give
fine.
them the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thumbs up, K, fine.
Dot
What
dot
do you
dot.
call it?
That
The
so much panic.
the triple threat. I don't know what to
The
call it. I forgot what it's called.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
thumbs up, fine, K. Oh no, it's four. That's what it is.
Something that I've struggled with, that I'm still working on in terms of um, like things that make communicating difficult sometimes, is also timing. Because to Oliver's point, you know, you don't want to communicate when things are intense. especially for both of you. Like let's say two individuals are coming into a situation, and then you're both having terrible days, but maybe you don't even know that. Like, but then you start talking, and then things start to escalate, and you're like, whoa, 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 like where where are we going with this? So picking your timing, I think, especially like the topic that it is, being able to kind of um read the room before you get into things. And sometimes you might not always be able to do that, but if you get into it and you kind of see that this person is not ready for that conversation, like being able to back off, not pursuing it. I've had to like I've struggled with that, being able to kind of adjust, or being able to kind of learn like maybe not now. Like this conversation could happen, but maybe a different time, you know.
That's something I learned when I was playing rugby, because that's a very chaotic game. And
Yeah.
if you don't take the time to slow down and, keep your wits in your thoughts and make sure you're still thinking, yeah, you can just get totally lost. And what happens in the game is that if you're too hyper focused on like what's in front of you and the chaos in front of you, the other team will set up their players away from everyone else, and then there goes the ball, and then they're off scoring. So whenever you're starting to get your emotions riled up, to be aware that, okay, I'm starting to get angry. I need to slow it down a bit and make sure I keep thinking and I don't lose my mind completely. That's
Hmm.
it's very invaluable to be able to do that.
Yeah. I feel like it's also tougher to have like the conversations, especially with people that you're closest to, because I feel like that's when the intensity is at its like peak. You know, whether it's for you in your case, Nate, like with Melanie, or like with close friends, or with family. Because I just wanted to bring up Ronnie's point, and in the chat, you're still trying to decipher the first topic, and she's on the third. Like, can you speak on that a little bit, Nate? Like, because I feel like some things that I've experienced just talking with different people before, it's like you think that they're talking about one problem, but it's actually something completely different. Like, and it could be between you two. Like, how have you navigated that to make the communication better, to make sure that you both are on the same page of whatever problem it is that you guys are talking about?
Okay, that's a lot. Uh,
Sorry.
I think really though it begins with honesty, and
Mm,
also expecting honesty. Okay, so
okay.
like when you get married, if you feel like they're beating around the bush, then just say it. Be like, I don't think you're getting at the problem, and I don't want to keep arguing over all these other points. I want to focus on what the actual problem is.
Okay. More direct conversation, right? Or being
Yeah,
able
and
to
and
identify.
yeah, I mean it's like they're expecting you to be honest. You should also expect them to be honest. And it's like, okay, let's. And sometimes you have to just say it out loud, like, uh, we're both like really angry right now, and we need to, you know, stop and calm down a bit, or we need to talk things through, or even stop them, be like, look, I think you are misinterpreting me, and I want to
Mhm.
stop this right now and slow down and clarify and make sure you really understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I think you are misinterpreting what I'm saying.
I like that. Just because in general, being able to be vulnerable, I think, is also what's difficult. At least for me personally, like that can be something hard, like when you're trying to tell people things, or if it's just that on the onset it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. Being able
Right.
to put yourself out there, it's
And
tough.
you'll see like entire movie plot lines that revolve around that, like just a complete blatant miscommunication, and there'll be the confusion afterwards. I mean, like Star Wars comes to mind. It's like, why didn't you tell Luke that that was his father, and it's also Darth Vader? It's like, why didn't you just say that? We wouldn't have to go through these other episodes, right? So yeah, that's where communication is like really key. You have to make
Yeah.
sure you're actually getting the point across. And if you think the other person is confused, okay, take the time to clarify it, and don't just leave them hanging.
Yeah. Oof. I hope we I hope I don't have words to communicate. I hope we communicated. I can't even say communicated anymore. I hope we communicated well enough for everyone who's listening to get something out of today's discussion and talk. This has been really fun, Nate and EJ. Let's do this again sometime. We do every week. That's what INCRadio chat line is about. So hope you guys will tune in the same time next week. Thanks for joining us for the hour, and hope that you can share this with somebody who might benefit, who might be struggling with communicating, and hopefully that they'll get it. Did you get it? We hope that you got it. Bye, guys. Take care. Have a good weekend. Only here on Ein's Freedom Chat.
I think this is sign language for K. Am I right?
Is it? Yes, you're right. I
think so,
believe that.
yeah.
K.
But can you do the period though?
K.
K
I don't know.
period. Technical period.
I don't know.